Chat, should we watch the Polish Muslims one? Yalla, let's see.
Sytuacja społeczna kobiet jest inna w stosunku do mężczyzn. Na Ramadan reagują polscy pracodawcy. Jakie masz zdanie o państwie islamskim ISIS?
Ya Allah, bro, every fucking time. I mean, like, I know we're only 10 minutes in and I'm already being rage baited, but every fucking time, this is why I just tell people I'm an atheist now. You know, I don't tell people my religion. Like, I mean, I don't have one, but like, I don't tell people like the religion that I'm raised in. Because the first thing I remember, like I was at a party in Lublin and some fucking fuck met me and asked me like where you know, oh, what religion were you raised in? I said Islam, you know. And he's like, oh, so what do you think about ISIS? Bro, what do you want me to say? What do I think about 9/11? What do I think about fucking terrorists? I don't know, bro. Fucking leave me alone.
Jak postrzegacie wielożeństwo?
Szczerze
Polygamy.
przyznam, panie redaktorze, czekałem na to pytanie.
Yeah, Muslims love their polygamy, man.
Poznajcie Olgierda Hazbijewicza, polskiego muzułmanina Tatara, który pokaże nam dzisiaj swoją religię.
Oh, he's a Tatar. By the way, yeah, nobody asked me about what I think about the IRA. Bro, he looks like he's not having it. He's dissociating.
Polskiego muzułmanina Tatara, który pokaże nam dzisiaj swoją religię i zadamy mu naprawdę kontrowersyjne pytania.
Take off your shoes, little bro. Good. Afganianiego?
Olgierd, jakbyś mógł się krótko przedstawić widzom.
Nazywam się Olgierd Hazbijewicz, pełnię funkcję przewodniczącego muzułmańskiej gminy wyznaniowej. Prowadzę własną działalność gospodarczą, prywatnie jestem ojcem, mężem.
A od kiedy twoja rodzina mieszka w Polsce?
Moja rodzina mieszka w Polsce od pokoleń. Przyniosła się z Wilna zaraz po II wojnie światowej. Wywodzi się z polskich Tatarów.
Czy czujesz się w pełni Polakiem, będąc muzułmaninem?
Czuję się w pełni Polakiem, bo Polska
I feel like a fully Polish person, and I'm not even fucking Polish. He has nice eyes, though, low-key. He looks like... You know who he looks like, low-key? Yeah, guys, we found out what happened to Duda, bro. He's secretly living as a fucking Muslim, bro.
słynie z tradycji wielonarodowościowej i wielokulturowej. I tak naprawdę no, ona dopiero tak naprawdę zaczęła być po 1945 roku taka jednolita etnicznie. Wcześniej to był zbiór wielonarodowości, który współżył ze sobą w całkowitej harmonii.
Mówisz po arabsku?
Mówię po arabsku podczas modlitwy, trochę rozumiem arabski, aczkolwiek nie posługuję się tym językiem.
Average Polish guy in his 50s, though. I mean, anybody that... fun fact for all my non-Muslims in the chat. You cannot pray in any other language besides Arabic in Islam. I mean, you can pray in another language, but like when you're actually doing like the 5 daily prayers, they have to be in Arabic. That's why every Muslim speaks at least a little bit of Arabic. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين صدق الله العظيم. Like every fucking, like almost every Muslim can just rip one of these off the top of their head.
płynnie, komunikatywnie.
Ile razy modlisz się w ciągu dnia? Jak to wygląda w praktyce? Gdzieś tam sobie rozkładasz kod, znajdujesz ciche miejsce?
W praktyce to wygląda różnie. No, jeśli człowiek oczywiście pracuje, jest człowiekiem zajętym, można gdzieś te modlitwy ze sobą połączyć, aczkolwiek no, powinno się modlić 5 razy w ciągu dnia. Niemniej jednak ja
That's right.
staram się znajdować czas przynajmniej raz dziennie na modlitwę.
Raz dziennie. I to też nie jest złe. Jakby.
To jest kwestia indywidualna każdego człowieka, jak on do tego podchodzi, prawda? Czy jest w stanie się
Yeah, also bars though. Yeah, and also fun fact: the entire Quran rhymes. Like it all sounds like poetry when it's spoken. It's all bars, bro. For real. Anyways.
modlić 5 razy dziennie w ciągu dnia, czy nie? No ja staram się to robić jak najczęściej.
A czy kobiety mogą przyjść na modlitwę do takiego meczetu?
Oczywiście, że kobiety jak najbardziej mogą przychodzić na modlitwę, zresztą no, dosłownie przed chwilą weszła jedna ze studentek, która studiuje w Gdańsku, najprawdopodobniej medycynę. Kobiety znają.
Of course she's fucking studying medicine, bro. All the fucking Muslims, all the brown people in Poland who are like in cities like Gdańsk and shit like that, they're all med students, bro. It's crazy. Like, and he even says like most likely medicine. Like, they're all fucking studying medicine, bro. It's insane. Like, it's so funny. Like, why? Because a lot of the times the brown people tend to come from stricter families where the only academic pursuit that has any merit in the eyes of the patriarch, usually of the family, will be something such as medicine or law, but mostly medicine. Like they have a strange obsession with doctors. It's a matter of also let's say like bragging, not bragging, but a matter of pride for the parents, for the family rather, to have a doctor in the family. It's such a big deal, and you see it across like many immigrant families too, not just brown people. Like it's pretty. That's why, like in Asia, yeah, exactly. That's why you always see this racist comments in videos of refugees and shit like that, where they say doctors and engineers, doctors and engineers, doctors, and because a lot of the times that's what most of the students are studying, you know. So I find it pretty funny that he even like he was like, yeah, like probably studying medicine. I was in Gdańsk studying medicine actually. I was in Gdańsk studying medicine in 2018.
Pełne prawa, tak samo jak mężczyźni, jeżeli chodzi o islam.
To jakby różnica cała do naszej, powiedzmy, chrześcijańskiej religii polega na tym, że kobiety mają swoje wydzielone miejsce w meczecie w porównaniu do mężczyzn, nie? Bo wy siedzicie jakby na dole, a kobiety tutaj na górze.
Czy akurat w tym meczecie panuje taki podział, że kobiety są u góry, mężczyźni na dole, czasami kobiety są w innej sali. No jest to element kulturowy, tradycji, ale jest to taki element też, powiedzmy, służy do tego, żeby się skupić podczas modlitwy, prawda, nie rozpraszać się.
That I'm not I you know with the separation of the sexes thing in church, or in the mosque rather, I've seen it done in many different done different ways. They've had them sometimes, the women in an upper floor in a different room, like he said. Sometimes they're in the same room, but just in the back of the mosque, and then the men in the front, because the imam, the leader of the prayer, is, I think, by rule, a man. So the men are with the man in the front, and the women are in the back. And I believe sometimes there's also a female imam, just depending on the way the whole system is built. There's a lot of small like nuances in this, but generally the main idea is that men and women are separate.
żeby ta modlitwa miała wymiar w kontakcie z Bogiem, a nie na sferze towarzyskiej.
A czy istnieje
Yeah, and just like he said, the whole point of religion, of faith in Islam, generally the point is that it's a personal connection between you and God. So you're not in the mosque to socialize, let's say, or to interact with others. It's mainly just a personal religious pursuit. You know, there is no middleman between you and God in Islam, pretty much. That's one thing I found strange being raised as a Muslim, comparing to Christianity. Christianity, there always seems to be like a middleman between you and God. If you want to like repent for your sins, you go speak to a guy in confession. If you want to have your food, whatever, blessed in Easter, the priest has to bless your food himself. Like in Islam, it's always like you just need you, and that's it. That's all you need for practicing your faith. I mean, there is socializing in the church as well, but that's after prayer. So before and after prayer, I mean, it's human nature to want to socialize, but I'm just saying that it's not the point of the mosque. And the mosque is also supposed to be in theory, at least, probably not in practice anymore, but in theory, it's meant to be a safe place where the needy can go if they need food, if they need drink, if they need a place to sleep, to clean themselves, to even be educated. Sometimes the mosque is like a place of charity for that. You can like for example, like I remember back in the day in Dubai, when it would get really hot outside, sometimes all mosques have ACs in them, which is nice, and they're nice and comfortable. There's carpets everywhere, you know. It's very normal to like walk into the mosque and see somebody like in the corner, just like laying down and taking a nap in the AC. You know, it's pretty normal. You don't really socialize in the church itself either. I guess not, but I wouldn't know, right? I'm just speaking from experience, from what I've seen and heard.
istnieją meczety, w którym wstęp kobietom jest zakazany?
Nie jest mi nic wiadomo na temat tego typu miejsc, gdzie kobiety mają zakaz wstępu.
Czy wasze
Yeah,
kobiety
that's-
noszą hijab?
Czy wasze kobiety noszą hijab?
Wasze tutaj w Polsce mi chodzi.
W Polsce kobiety chodzą, muzułmanki oczywiście są zasłonięte, to już jest kwestia indywidualna każdego człowieka. My raczej dbamy o to, żeby tutaj powiedzmy w meczecie podczas modlitwy kobiety stosowały się do tego. Na
Yeah.
zewnątrz jest to
So generally, also he's right. It's a personal choice, the hijab. Unfortunately, wasze kobiety, yeah, I caught that too. That was funny. Your women. um, unfortunately, that's been tainted by the patriarchal structure of how society works, where men like to exert control over women or just minorities in any shape, way, or form. So, like the hijab would be an example of that. You know, it's a tool that sometimes deranged men in power will use to control women, to exert their control. They force them to wear hijab. In reality, it's not the decision of anybody but the woman. The only time where the hijab is, let's say, absolutely mandatory is during prayer in the mosque. But besides that, it's not a mandatory requirement whatsoever. It's technically, I guess, religiously it's mandatory, but nobody is allowed to enforce that rule besides the woman herself on herself. That's it.
kwestia indywidualna.
W Polsce istnieje taki pogląd, że noszenie hijabu jest takim nakazem od mężczyzn, traktując kobietę jako własność.
Ja uważam, że
Yeah.
to jest
I mean, this is exactly what I said. This rage bait turned out to be educational. Well, it's also I'm sure I will be rage baited a bit, but and thank you for watching, Kasia. I hope you're enjoying. the rage bait. But just like I said, it's not the matter of the religion itself. It's the matter of the man being a fucking disgusting, power hungry freak who wants to exert control over a woman.
Bardzo krzywdzący i mylny pogląd z tego względu, że hijab jest, tak jak już podkreśliłem, elementem tradycji i kultury. Kobiety zresztą niektóre same czują potrzebę noszenia go. To jest taki stereotyp, który już powinien ewentualnie zniknąć z takiego ogólnego myślenia ludzi, powiedzmy gdzieś, że kobieta w jakikolwiek sposób dyskryminowana.
Czy nienoszenie hijabu jest uznawane jako zniewaga w islamie?
To nie jest element raczej zniewagi.
What does he mean
W
by
meczecie
that?
nie jest to dobrze postrzegane, jak kobieta nie nosi nakrycia głowy. A może też jako element braku szacunku, powiedzmy, tak jak podpowiedziałem, powinna nosić nakrycie głowy.
No, it's like, bro, it's like how when he asks if it's offensive, like to not wear hijab. I mean, like I said, the only time it's offensive to not wear hijab is in the mosque. That's about it. But also it's the same concept as, for example, men cannot show their knees. You can't wear shorts in the mosque. You have to cover your legs as a man. You cannot wear shoes. You have to be barefooted or wearing socks at least. Yeah, and hijab is just another one of those things that it's considered offensive if you don't. There's a dress code that they need to follow. Or shoulders in Catholic Church. Yeah, it's the same concept.
Głowy w meczecie. Przede wszystkim podczas modlitwy.
Czy pozycja społeczna kobiet jest inna w stosunku do mężczyzn?
Pozycja społeczna kobiet jest jak najbardziej, może nawet i wyższa niż pozycja mężczyzn, ponieważ na zewnątrz wygląda to w ten sposób, że może mężczyzna jest głową rodziny, ale wewnętrznie w domach to zawsze kobieta gdzieś przejmuje stery i rządzi. I ja wiem jak, czy moje babcie, czy moje...
This is, I think, a stupid question to ask. I mean, it's not a stupid question, but it's a cultural matter. It's not really a religious matter. I mean, sure, there might be laws and requirements in their religion itself, but it's always culture that reigns victorious in dictating whether or not a person has power or a good social standing in a social setting or in a, let's say, a household setting. It's at the end of the day, it's the culture that decides this, not the religion. Religion does have of course, an influence on it, but culture was there before religion, and the religion is shaped by the culture, and vice versa. You know, there was already, like, think of it like this: like in the Middle East, in the so-called Muslim countries like Saudi Arabia and stuff like that, they existed before Islam existed, and they had their culture and their traditions and their hierarchies and whatnot far before the establishment of Islam or any religion before that, right? They might have had some pagan religions. They might have had some other religions, but at the end of the day, it's the culture that dictates it. In my opinion.
Ciocie jako tatarki, to wiem jakie one potrafią być, że tak powiem, krewkie, ale też takie, to są takie kobiety z ikrą, z inicjatywą, powiedzmy gdzieś, często też dominujące charakterami, także uważam, że to jest po prostu też kwestia równoważna. Kobieta jest równa mężczyźnie, nie ma dyskryminacji, jeszcze raz to podkreślę, między kobietą a mężczyzną. To jest zresztą napisane w sunnie, czyli tych zaleceniach napisanych przez proroka.
Sunnah in Islam, yeah, he's blushing for real. He's Sunnah just means almost like the word, following the word. So following. Hello, Salto. Sunnah, yeah, is just basically the rules almost. So it's written, when he says it's written in Sunnah, it means it's written in the rules.
Są napisane w sunnie, czyli tych zaleceniach napisanych przez proroka sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
A czy nosisz turban?
Nie noszę turbanu. Turban jest elementem kulturowym przynależnym do pewnych obszarów geograficznych, ale to tylko i wyłącznie z tytułu tego, że słońce tak świeci, że tam po prostu czasami się nie da tego nie nosić, może dostać udaru słonecznego.
Zanim przejdziemy do kolejnych kontrowersyjnych pytań, Olgierd opowiedział mi o meczecie w Gdańsku, który jako jedyny w Polsce posiada minaret, czyli wieżę obok świątyni, która w tym wypadku służy wyłącznie
Oh yeah, I am sure this has caused a lot of drama in Gdańsk, huh?
jako element ozdobny. Rozmawialiśmy także o związku Tatarów
This is...
z Polską, która w wielkim skrócie zaczęła się od bitwy pod Grunwaldem, w której Tatarzy walczyli ramię w ramię z Polakami, a przypomnę, że był to rok 1410. Po tych wydarzeniach walczyli już w niemal wszystkich prowadzonych wojnach Rzeczypospolitej.
Ale jak
Hell yeah.
mało kto wie, że
Że w tylu bitwach brali udział
że każdego
Tatarzy.
Tatarów też możemy znaleźć w każdej formacji Wojska Polskiego w 1939 roku.
Mnie interesowało jednak, w jakim
Yeah, you know I had to do it to him type shit.
momencie Tatarzy związali się z Polską na stałe, to znaczy kiedy poczuli się Polakami.
XVI wiek. XVII wiek.
Rozumiem.
XVII-XVIII to już później się to tak rozwijało, że Tatarzy nie posługiwali się własnym językiem, tylko językiem polskim. Mówi się 600 lat Tatarów na ziemiach Rzeczypospolitej. Obchodziliśmy 600-lecie.
Wróćmy jednak do trudniejszych pytań. Znaczenie religii w życiu
Damn! Man, look at it. He's so fitted, bro.
ma ogromne znaczenie, tak przynajmniej twierdzi większość Polaków. Czy ty się ze mną zgodzisz?
W tej kwestii zgodzę się, że religia ma znaczenie, aczkolwiek religia ma znaczenie na tyle, o ile dopóki to wszystko ma granicę zdrowego rozsądku. To znaczy, jeśli religia jest elementem życia, no to jak najbardziej ma to sens, ma to słuszność i powiedzmy stosujemy się do tych zasad. Jeśli ona staje się sensem,
Man, you know, I have not see you don't see many level-headed religious people like him. I don't mean, of course, just religious in general. I mean like somebody who's very clearly dedicated deeply to the religion. It matters a lot to him, very obviously, that he's representing it in an interview. He seems so like level-headed compared to the people I've seen. Because there are people who will become, you know, fanatics, extremists, stuff like that, and doesn't give religion a good look. And keep in mind, I'm saying this as somebody who is not religious.
sensem życia. To już dochodzimy do niebezpiecznej granicy. Oczywiście religia jest bardzo ważna, ale życie nie polega tylko na modlitwie i na religii. Bo wtedy to dochodzimy do granicy ekstremizmu. To mam na myśli.
Jakie masz zdanie o państwie islamskim ISIS?
Bo bardzo niekorzystne, no, w sensie takim, że no to państwo islamskie było z nazwy islamskie, tak? No, to nie miało nic wspólnego.
By the way, yeah, Mina, you're right. Some people treat it like a cult. That is correct. Sometimes there is no separation between cult and religion, depending on how people are practicing their faith. You know, this is something interesting that I don't think a lot of people tend to consider about extremist groups. These people, like ISIS and Al Qaeda, or as you would say, Al Qaeda, they are based in the Middle East. They are based in Saudi. They are based in wherever they are based. ISIS is in the Levant. It's in Syria and Lebanon and these places. They do infinitely more damage to those places than somewhere, let's say, like Germany or France or whatever. Sure, there are fanatics that believe in the extremist views that ISIS and whatever teach, but at the end of the day, they do the most damage in home turf. You know, they fucking destroyed ISIS destroyed historical structures in Syria, stuff that has been standing for hundreds, if not thousands of years. They destroy history. They destroy society. They destroy culture in home turf. not overseas, in home turf mostly. That's I think why I consider that question offensive. In a sense, I understand that maybe there's an ignorant perspective or an uneducated perspective where they people only see it they only see it in a sense of like how it affects the West, but man, it fucks up countries like Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, Iran, all these Palestine, all these places get fucked by these extremists, man. Fucking destroyed.
Z islamem, no to tam porywanie niewinnych ludzi.
Also, always good to remind everyone, most of these extremists are direct and planned out product of foreign, mostly USA interference. That's correct, yeah. Uh, that's exactly correct. It's not. I mean, if you always want to see where the source of a certain evil, so-called evil body is from, look at who is getting the most damage done to them and who is benefiting the most from that damage. You know, you can see it, for example, with the installment of, if I'm not mistaken, the religious theocracy, the Shah in Iran. If I'm not mistaken, they had a very democratic open-minded, open society and culture in Iran before the implementation of the Shah of Iran, the strict extremist, almost Shiite Shah in Iran that fucked the whole country backwards. So they take advantage of the desperation of people. They create problems, and they take advantage of the desperation that arises from the problems. It's it's very obvious to see when you look at it in the big picture of things.
Ludzi, nieprawdopodobne cierpienie
I like how we're doing this, and then later we're gonna play Minecraft.
też ludności. Nikt w islamie nawet prorok właśnie, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam powiedział, że tu powinno się szanować, no to jest tolerancja, tak?
Yeah, by the way, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you have to say it, not have to, but it's preferred to say this whenever speaking of the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam means like peace be upon him. And also when they speak about Jesus, for example, Isa, who is, I think, probably the second most important prophet in Islam, they say wa alayhi salam, peace be upon him. I don't know, I don't understand the difference between sallallahu alayhi wasallam and wa alayhi salam, but there's a distinction. But the point is that prophets, is it something like Shente Pamięci? I think so. It's a matter of, I guess, respect and significance in the faith.
Nie można tak robić. Zrujnowali ludziom życie, zrujnowali dużą część terenów. Nie powinno tak się stać. I to nie ma nic wspólnego z islamem. Źle się stało, że to w ogóle taki twór powstał. I to tam zostawili po prostu po sobie zgliszcza.
Tak, tak jest prawda. I cenne, no już nie mówię o
Niszczyli zabytki kultury,
tak,
to starożytne,
lat,
w ogóle
no.
to nic nikomu to nie przystało tam tyle tysięcy lat, czemu to trzeba było niszczyć, no. Kościoły, świątynie też, no tam były, no, meczety, no strasznie.
A to co myślisz w ogóle o tym dżihadyzmie?
Znaczy dżihad, oczywiście, dżihad istnieje takie pojęcie, to nie jest dżihad.
Daddy. Okay, that's a mistranslation. Jihad, daddy.
Dżihad to jest święta wojna, ale żeby nie mylić pojęć, to jest to wojna obronna. Polska w 1939 roku, napadnięta przez dwa wrogie nam mocarstwa, prowadziła swoisty dżihad. Jeśli może w ogóle użyć takiego porównania. Natomiast dżihad nigdy w żadnym wypadku nie jest wojną agresywną, wojną mającą na celu zagarnięcie czyjegoś terytorium, mającą na napadanie na czyjeś domy, zabijanie niewinnych ludzi. To nie ma nic wspólnego z dżihadem ani z religią. Dżihad to było pojęcie funkcjonujące już w czasach powstania islamu i oczywiście miało to na celu tylko i wyłącznie obronę terytoriów, czy też jak gdyby wojnę obronną przede wszystkim. Nawet Turcy, kiedy zdobyli Konstantynopol, zachowali zarówno wszystkie świątynie, wszystkie meczety i wszystkich kapłanów duchownych chrześcijańskich. Nikt tam nie uciekł.
Yeah, and Islam has pretty clear rules when it comes to warfare, uh, whether religious or non-religious. One of the most important things, this is what makes the extremists, the religious extremists, the terrorist groups, let's say, let's call it what for what it is. This is what makes them false fanatics. They don't really represent the desires, let's say, of the majority in the religion. In Islam, it's strictly regardless of any circumstance whatsoever. It's strictly prohibited to kill, hurt, or anything, to attack in any shape, way, or form places of worship, whether it be a mosque, a church, or synagogue, whatever. Elderly, sick, children, women, and anybody that is not attacking you. So there are very strict rules when it comes to that they clearly don't fucking follow because they're fucking stupid, fanatic extremists. As you would say in Poland, Islamists.
Cierpiał poza tym, kto powiedzmy ucierpiał w walce, tak? Ale to jest pewnego rodzaju tolerancja, a te informacje, które mieliśmy, powiedzmy, czy ostatni ten twór taki jak ISIS, czy te inne rzeczy, takie powiedzmy zabijanie niewinnych ludzi poprzez wysadzanie się w powietrze, no to jest zwykły bandytyzm, terroryzm i naprawdę nie należy tego łączyć z islamem.
Z czego to wynika, że ci ludzie tak postępują i robią to w imię swojej wiary, przynajmniej tak uważają?
Znaczy w imię religii, jeśli chodzi z religią na ustach, to popełniono wiele zbrodni w historii. I zarówno po obu stronach. To wtedy była religia na sztandarach i to wyprawy krzyżowe to już powiedzmy zapoczątkowały i Kolumb jak zdobywał Amerykę, to też było hasło szerzenia tak, religii chrześcijańskiej, a wiemy co tam się działo, tam po prostu rzeź Indian czasami. I tutaj powiedzmy, oczywiście można to porównywać, ale też gdzieś mniej więcej to jest podobny przykład, tak? To jest zwykły bandytyzm i taki powiedzmy państwowy terroryzm, ale nie ma to nic wspólnego z islamem. No.
Dlaczego ci ludzie tak postępują? Jacy oni są? Bo rozumiem, że osobom, polskim Tatarom nigdy by czegoś takiego do głowy nie przyszło, ale co różni polskiego Tatara od takiego członka ISIS?
Są ludzie...
They're white. No, of course I'm joking, I'm not saying brown people are beneath white people. 'Cause I'm brown myself, I'm just making a joke. But the main distinction is that they exist in a different culture. Very simply put, they exist in a different culture. They don't exist in an Arabic, South Asian, Middle Eastern culture. So of course they will behave differently, and bad actors will behave differently.
Przede wszystkim o małej wiedzy. Czasami ludzie o złych intencjach namawiają młodych chłopców, młodych ludzi, nie do końca wyedukowanych w odpowiednim momencie i potrafią ich zmanipulować. No to też ma duże znaczenie, ma edukacja.
Danny, do you cover topics related to Islam regularly, or is it just this one time? I think this is the first time I've done something like this. Bye, Rote. No, this is the first time I do something like this. Originally I just wanted to be rage baited. Kasia very kindly showed me this channel, but since I was just some short lore, I was super religious until I was like 15. I was a very religious Muslim until I was about 15, and then I, let's say, separated myself from the religion after then. So just due to the fact of the environment I was raised in, and the fact that I was religious, I was educated very deeply about the religion too. out of passion for the religion and out of curiosity as well. I have a certain unique background, let's say. Might be slightly biased as an ex-religious, as an ex-Muslim, or as an ex-religious person, let's say. But I also think it's good because I don't hold much of a I don't hold much of a bias when it comes to this because I don't necessarily believe in it, if that makes sense. So I think this was something interesting to watch. I don't know.
Koran jest świętą księgą islamu. Jest napisany językiem poetyckim językiem arabskim, który jest przetłumaczony też na wiele języków, no ale to trzeba też odpowiednio umieć zinterpretować. Dosłowne odczytywanie pewnych fragmentów z Koranu, dosłowne odczytywanie w tym sensie, że powiedzmy podczepianie pewnych fragmentów napisanych poetycko, albo w sposób taki liturgiczny do modlitwy, podczepianie ich pod takie czyny.
Conservative Christian arguing with a Muslim would be hella rage bait. Yeah, that would be funny as fuck. You know what I should do? I should like grow out my beard again, and pretend to be like a religious Muslim, and go out and have debates with people about Islam, with just like racist people and shit like that. But then like just keep rage baiting them on purpose because you know I don't necessarily believe in what I would be talking about, so I could just say like random like rage bait shit to them. Why so many questions about ISIS? Is he fixating on this so much? I feel I would expect to focus more on the religion as it is from this interview. Well, the unfortunate matter is that the average white person, the average non-Muslim, uh, the average Westerner, does not give a shit about the religion. Realistically, they don't care about Islam. I mean, and why should they, right? I mean, it has nothing to do with them, and they only care about it if they let's say they only care about it if they have an interest in converting or if they have an interest in religion. But generally, nobody really gives a shit. I don't blame them for not giving a shit. It's interesting, but it's not, you know, everybody has their own interests. But when it comes to Islam, Islam is a very big scapegoat in the media. It's a big scapegoat in Western media for let's say what's the term, for otherism. I think the term is, you know, talking about another group of people in a bad light, then blaming them for all the problems. So the typical Muslim or the typical Westerner, especially European, does not hear good things about Islam, period. You know, nobody hears anything about Islam except for the bad things. So, of course, it's natural to want to ask about the things that you hear about first, and then maybe afterwards learn some more stuff. You know what's funny? He looks more Muslim than he does low key. He's rocking the muzzy beard, bro, for real. Unfortunately, Muslims and trans people are the current scapegoats. Yes, yes, I would say not even just Muslims, I would say immigrants in general. Immigrants and trans people, LGBT, but trans people in specificity. By the way, protect our dolls. I don't know if I can say that. I, but protect our dolls. Protect the dolls. Our dolls need to be protected. For real. It's the beard. Yeah, it's the muzzy beard for real. I like calling Muslims muzzies because it sounds like a slur.
No jest naprawdę niesłuszne, ale też no, manipulacja młodych ludzi czasami nie do końca wyedukowanych no, ma właśnie kończy się w taki opłakany sposób, no bo przecież inicjatorzy tych zamachów sami nie wzięli w tym udziału, tak? Niestety, czy po zamachach z 11 września, no to przecież to była tragedia dla wizerunku islamu, w ogóle dla świata islamu.
My stepfather is Muslim. Oh, that's interesting. Muslim Arab or Muslim? Where is he from? What made him Muslim?
No to była tragedia, to co się stało.
Diametralnie się to zmieniło właśnie ten 11 września.
No
jak
11 września był taki moment,
It's a tragedy what happened September 11th. Arab, he's from Egypt. Oh, okay, that's cool. Egyptians, shout out Egyptians, man. The fuck is he doing talking about September 11th, bro? I mean, I guess that was the inciting event in in a human in recent history that made the view of Arabs and Muslims shift a lot.
momentem przełomowym i to każdy nad tym ubolewał, jak oni mogli to zrobić w ogóle, no jak oni mogli tyle niewinnych ludzi zabić, no.
Czy obchodzicie Ramadan w Polsce?
Oczywiście, no, na Ramadan to nie obchodzimy tylko w Polsce, na całym świecie.
A jak na Ramadan reagują polscy pracodawcy?
Kwestia Ramadanu to jest kwestia indywidualna, no. Tak jak mówią, to tylko widzi Bóg.
I pewnie Bóg by zrozumiał, jeżeli byś naprawdę potrzebował, że sobie coś tam podjesz, czy raczej to jest...
Znaczy, no nie wiem, czy by to też... Nie, no to
Dobra,
nie ma,
przepraszam, bo to jest-
czy to nie można tak robić, że gdzieś tam powiedzmy, no...
Mówię, co w takiej
Look,
sytuacji?
my friend, it's easier to make them scapegoats than to teach. Danny, do you support clankers? Fuck clankers. I'm joking. I am, when it comes to technology, I'm 50-50. Because I do think when it comes to AI, for example, we are well on our way to create actual living conscious beings out of non-organic material. And if they are conscious and living beings, then they have just as much of a right to exist and to be treated with respect as any other living conscious being would. And I don't mean that ironically. I mean that truly, like with all sincerity. It's easier to make them scapegoats than to teach. Yeah. My friend is 100% white and Polish, but she was literally abused just for wearing a hijab. Why was she wearing a hijab? Just for fun? Or was she in a mosque or what? 9/11 was genuinely disastrous and the main victim was not the US. That's right. She's Muslim. Aha, okay. It's I have seen this. There's a few Polish people converting to Islam. It's interesting. Yeah, mad respect to her, man. Mad respect. It's not an easy thing to do, especially the environment that she exists in. Yeah, the funny thing about Islam, not Islam, about Ramadan, that I think a lot of some Muslims would get mad at me for saying this, but I think it's true. When it comes to religion, I think that when it comes to Ramadan specifically, the whole point of Ramadan is to fast, right? Fasting that is physical and spiritual too. You have to fast from not just food and drink. You fast from let's say sexual contact during the day. You fast from what else, from saying bad words, from speaking ill about other. You try to be as pure as possible during your fast. And on top of that, when you fast, the one of the points of it is to put you back in touch with your faith, with your connection to God. And on top of it is to put you more in touch with your fellow human, because uh, you are simulating, let's say, the suffering of somebody who is less fortunate than you. You are fasting from food and drink in the same way that somebody who does not have a steady source of income or a steady source of food and drink would feel. So I don't think that the fact that you are fasting should allow you, award you any form of special treatment. Uh, uh, you should live your day just like anybody else would. And just because you're fasting, it doesn't mean you get special treatment. Your boss has no obligation whatsoever to accommodate anything for you. Nobody has to stop eating around you. Nobody has to stop smoking or drinking in front of you. It is the whole point of the fast is for the world to go around you as normal. You are not more important than another person just because they are not fasting or just because you are fasting. You don't deserve special treatment just because you are fasting. You know, your employer doesn't need to accommodate you in any way, shape, or form just because you are fasting. So I think it's an entirely um entitled and stupid behavior that a lot of Muslims do, where they say, "Oh, I need to request from my boss if I can finish work earlier this month because it's Ramadan and I'm fasting." Habibi, the whole point is that you live your day normal. You don't deserve a special treatment. You have no right to get angry at somebody because they're eating in front of you because you're fasting. Bro, fuck you. The whole point of the fasting is that you are fasting. So fast. Don't be a an idiot. Off topic, but it's extremely funny how when it comes to Islam, uh, every typical religious practice is suddenly exotic and strange. Yeah, that's true. And that's your choice. That's correct. It is your choice.
Jak ktoś nie widzi, no to my się najemy, no bo to wtedy post nie ma sensu. No nie ma sensu.
Nie chodzi mi, czy jak ktoś nie widzi, tylko w sytuacji, w której ktoś ma bardzo fizyczną pracę. I po prostu
No jest taka sytuacja, że jeżeli powiedzmy gdzieś mamy ekstremalny dzień i na przykład, no nie wiem, z jakichś powodów przerwiemy post, to należy ten dzień postu odrobić na koniec Ramadanu.
Aha, że tak do tego podchodzi.
Tak, mamy dzień wolny, wtedy powiedzmy powinniśmy ten dzień postu odrobić. No bo załóżmy jest taki dzień, że powiedzmy nie wiem, musimy wziąć leki albo coś nam dolega i tak dalej, no to leki automatycznie, czy cokolwiek
Co potrzeba,
przerywa post, tak? No i
By the way, I still participate in Ramadan even though I'm not religious anymore. I think it's good for the spirit, good for your health. It's good it helps break bad habits. Like for example, because in Ramadan also you cannot smoke any nicotine uh, during the day. It helps people quit smoking sometimes. Like for example, I was vaping a lot before, but now I barely smoke at all because of last Ramadan where I was not smoking during the day. It helps cut bad habits. It helps put you more in touch with yourself. I think it's a good thing to fast. If you get the opportunity, you should try it. I highly recommend it. The Islamic fasting I think is very nice because it's not like the Catholic fasting. Islamic fasting is you cannot eat, drink, smoke, have sex, swear, say bad things, be evil, be negative, be mean, all these things are a part of your fast. And this is every day for 30 days from sunrise to sunset.
No jeśli przerwiemy ten dzień postu z jakichś tam powodów niezależnych od nas, powinniśmy to odrobić.
A jak postrzegacie wielożeństwo?
Szczerze przyznam, panie redaktorze, czekałem na to pytanie, bo gdzieś tak się utarło właśnie, że tam muzułmanin może mieć wiele żon. Po pierwsze, żon można mieć tyle, na ile pozwala prawo danego kraju.
Czyli w Polsce tylko jedną?
Tak, bigamia jest zabroniona.
Tak.
Tak, natomiast oczywiście możemy mieć powiedzmy w Arabii Saudyjskiej, powiedzmy zawrzeć związek małżeński z więcej niż jedną kobietą. Ja mówię na przykład w Arabii Saudyjskiej, bo można to też robić w innych krajach, ale jedna pani musi się zgodzić na to, żeby była druga pani, to jest jeden warunek. A drugi warunek jest taki, musimy zapewnić im takie samo powiedzmy bytowanie, czyli na tym samym poziomie. No jeżeli
Yeah, so it's still polygamy, right? In Islam, polygamy is polygamy, which I don't really agree with. I don't see a value in polygamy. But it's a more nuanced polygamy, let's say. It has many more rules than what the typical person would view polygamy as. The woman does keep her rights in many ways in the decision making process, but at the same time, I find it kind of strange that only the man can get more wives, but the woman cannot get more husbands. It's a strange double standard that I don't entirely get, but that exists, I think, in society in general. This double standard of women not having the same authority as a man does. I think that's a bigger discussion to have just as human beings, right? It's not a religious matter; it's a cultural and humanitarian matter rather.
Tam pojawią się dzieci z jednego czy z drugiego związku, to one również muszą mieć zapewnione odpowiednie bytowanie.
Muzułmanin z definicji nie może jeść wieprzowiny i pić alkoholu. Czy w takim kraju jak Polska jest to trudne do przestrzegania?
W obecnej sytuacji mamy tyle trendów różnego rodzaju kulinarnych, ludzie są wegetarianinami, nie jedzą różnych produktów i tak dalej, że myślę, że wieprzowina tutaj nie jest.
You know, it's funny. It's sexist just like every other religion because women have been subjugated for centuries. Yeah, pretty much, I would say. I think I would agree with that. I would agree with that. You know, what's funny is if you tell somebody you don't eat pork because you are a Jew or you are a Muslim, you're seen as a weird person because of your faith, right? Or your beliefs. If you tell that same person you don't eat meat because you are a vegetarian for your beliefs, which are in this case environmental or ethical, suddenly it's more acceptable. Or if again, same thing with being vegan. Again, alcohol. Alcohol has a very rampant control over culture. You know, I live in Poland. I understand how it is, right? If you tell somebody that you don't drink because of your faith, because of your beliefs, because of religion, you are seen as a loser, right? As somebody who doesn't know how to live their life and enjoy it. But if you tell somebody that you don't drink for health purposes, because you are an addict, an ex-addict, you are sober, suddenly it is seen as an accomplishment. It's seen as an exercise in willpower, a great example of somebody's spirit and strength. It's a strange double standard, you know?
Z wyjątkiem. No, alkohol kontrowersyjna sprawa, tutaj każdy indywidualnie, no ale wiadomo co ludziom, to nie tylko alkohol powoduje testowanie tak zwanego małpiego rozumu, ale też różne inne niesie za sobą bardzo konsekwencje, dlatego picie alkoholu w islamie zakazane.
Jak bardzo jest odczuwalna islam?
I have heard that this law was made due to a lot of women used to lose their husbands at war, and as a woman, you couldn't just find a job and work for your family. Yeah, I'm sure there are nuances. We would have to do a more deeper dive on that. I'd love to do that in the future because I also want to understand the nuances of the way women are treated in different societal structures and different religious structures. That's a very big interest of mine. Not just women, but minority populations in general. And I think that potentially something like this could be turned into a series in the future on my YouTube channel. I was thinking, of you know, having you guys join with me in this education, you know, and I think this whole clip. This whole section of the stream where we're watching this video, I think I will repost it on YouTube as well, so that you guys can rewatch my opinions and stuff like that. I think it's an interesting watch. Speaking of food, I have a rage bait question for you, Danny. What do you think about kebab in Poland? It's depends. Kebab can be good, but it's really hit or miss for me. I'm used to shawarma. In the Middle East, we have our version of kebab is shawarma, which is fucking delicious. It's slightly different than the kebab that you find here, but it still holds its merit. You can say that you just don't like it and it's okay, but when you do this for religious reasons, you are more controversial. Yeah. Because if religion is involved, people want to take it harsher. Bro, now I won't give up. I would love that to be a series. How close to OG is it? I don't know because kebab is Turkish. It's not Middle Eastern. So I would have to ask a Turkish person. I've never had Turkish kebab. I've only had shawarma. It's kind of close to shawarma. What is the difference between kebab and shawarma is perhaps I think it's the spices, the meats being used as well, the preparation of the wrap itself, the bread being used, the toppings. It's small differences. It's the same way how like an American burger is still a burger and a Polish burger is still a burger. Do you like kafta? I love kafta. Kafta is fantastic, but I don't like meat that much as I grew older. Hello, Pink Nasraka. Okay, let's continue the video. Is shawarma supposed to be eaten cold or hot? Hot, I think. The shawarma is the meat, of course, is hot, cut off the spit, but the bread is not usually not toasted, at least in my experience.
Islamofobia.
Może takie zjawisko pojawione,
Jak bardzo jest odczuwalna islamofobia?
może takie zjawisko pojawiło się, ale nie nazwałbym go islamofobią, tylko raczej taki powiedzmy lęk przed obcym po tych zamachach z 11 września. Natomiast ja uważam, że w Polsce nie mamy islamofobii. Polska jest krajem, najbardziej tolerancyjnym krajem, jakim znam. Tak samo jak byśmy teraz tutaj się zachowali.
It's an interesting take. That's a very interesting take. I think maybe just because he's a Polish man himself, he might have a different perspective, but and he could be just not being straightforward because for safety purposes, for I don't know what, but yeah, maybe he wasn't in so many other countries that he sees the difference. But that's definitely an interesting take.
Zachowujemy w obliczu czy tej inwazji rosyjskiej, jeżeli jak zachowujemy się wobec Ukrainy, jak zachowywaliśmy się na przestrzeni wcześniej wieków wobec innych nacji, wobec ludzi potrzebujących. Nie powiedziałbym, że istnieje takie zjawisko jak islamofobia. Może ono gdzieś funkcjonuje, gdzieś w innych krajach, natomiast ja się z tym nie spotykam.
Co najgorszego
I didn't expect him to say that. Interesting.
spotkało waszą...
And I generally did agree with the majority of what he was saying, I think, for the most part. He's a very well-educated, mild-mannered person. I respect the way he speaks and thinks. I think he's a very smart man, but I didn't really expect him to say that in the end. I think the key word here is that he doesn't experience Islamophobia. Perhaps so.
gminę muzułmańską tutaj na przestrzeni jej działalności?
Ja myślę, że to, co spotyka najgorszego, jeśli chodzi o gminę muzułmańską, to jest sytuacja, w której po prostu brakuje nam młodych ludzi. A tak, to nie widzę takich rzeczy, które były gdzieś na niekorzyść, nie?
Takie pojedyncze wypadki jakieś tam się zdarzały. Tutaj,
Drobne incydenty, które po prostu też to nie za bardzo miały coś wspólnego, powiedzmy, z taką jakąś nienawiścią religijną, bardziej występki chuligańskie, a w zasadzie to incydenty wynikające z nieświadomości. Powiedzmy, to są gdzieś takie utarte stereotypy w społeczeństwie. Nie? Ale one może funkcjonowały w społeczeństwie, bo już nawet teraz wiem, że są wypychane ze świadomości ludzi. Ale ja bym chciał też od siebie dodać jedną rzecz, panie redaktorze, i to jest bardzo istotna kwestia. Zachęcamy wszystkich naszych widzów do tego, żeby przychodzili, dowiedzą się wszystkiego na temat religii, islamu, społeczności tatarskiej, ale także tym, czym islam jest nasycony, czyli pokoju i tolerancji.
Meczet jest zawsze otwarty.
Zawsze otwarty.
Co życzyłbyś sobie na przyszłość?
Zdrowia, spokoju i powiększenia meczetu. A powiększenia meczetów dlatego, że po prostu już nie jesteśmy w stanie się pomieścić.
I to by było na tyle.
Shot himself for a second there. Holy shit, he shot himself. The expansion of the mosque, and then it's like, what? But I think he just meant like expansion of the mosque just because they can't fit enough people in it anymore. That's funny.
Mam
I
nadzieję,
I would love to visit that mosque actually. I haven't been to a mosque in years. I haven't been to a mosque in 2, 3, I think maybe even 4, 5 years.
że reportaż Wam się podobał. Pamiętajcie, aby odwiedzić nasze socjale i polubić ten film, jeżeli Wam się spodobał. Do następnego razu, kiedy znowu pokażę Wam coś ciekawego. Siemanko.
Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, it was a good video. I liked it. Thank you, Kasia Babis, for the recommendation.